Presented by Policybazaar.
CNBC TV 80, the Policybazaar Insurance Show.
From heart disease to cancer, to respiratory issues to obesity, lifestyle disorders are rising at an alarming rate. Rapid urbanization, dietary changes, and even daily habits are now becoming bigger threats than just genetics. A comprehensive study by Redcliffe Labs reveals that every second Indian is at the risk of developing a lifestyle-related health condition. Lifestyle diseases are also turning into silent killers as they now account for a staggering 60% of deaths in the country. With healthcare costs skyrocketing, this episode of the Policybazaar Insurance Show aims to decode the various nuances of health and life insurance cover from a lifestyle disease perspective. Joining us today are industry leaders in decoding this particular issue and the point of insurance on this one. Siddharth Singhal, Head Health Insurance, Policybazaar.com, Ankur Kharbanda, the Chief Distribution Officer at Niva Bupa Health Insurance, and of course, Vignesh Sahane, the former Managing Director and CEO at Aegis Federal Life Insurance. To start with, as far as the health insurance side is concerned, with respect to lifestyle diseases, the question is for Ankur Kharbanda. First things first, Ankur, a normal health insurance cover for a lifestyle disease or a special plan, what does one require in terms of, covering any potential threats coming from a lifestyle disease in any individual's life? Also, if you can walk us through how critical illnesses, top-ups coming from that particular side really become very effective when it comes to health insurance policies.
Thank you, Yash, for getting me here. I'll directly start with what you asked. Yes, a comprehensive health insurance cover would cover for all lifestyle diseases, whereas a critical illness insurance is focused on specific severe illnesses and offers a lump sum payout after diagnosis. Whereas you also mentioned about cancer insurance. Cancer insurance is highly specialized, offering financial protection only for cancer-related medical costs. So, if I have to put it in a nutshell, the key differences is one is on the payout structure. A standard health insurance covers only medical expenses, whereby critical illness and cancer will offer a predefined lump sum amount upon diagnosis. The scope of the cover is the second difference. Regular policies encompass a wide range of medical conditions, whereby critical illness and cancer plans will offer specific, they'll focus on specific severe diseases. These are the key differences.
My next question, and what I want to understand from Siddharth is that barring chronic cases, most of the lifestyle diseases are treated over a long-term period. It may require hospitalization, but a lot of times it may not require that kind of hospitalization as well. But the patients do have to shell out a good amount, a big amount when it comes to the treatment cost of these lifestyle diseases. What kind of products should policyholders look at when it comes to such situations where the expenses are very high, but at the same time hospitalization may not be required for the treatment?
I think it's a very valid point that most of the expenses do happen outside hospitalization. Not in every case. Let's say, for example, India is now fast increasingly becoming a diabetes capital of the world. Of almost 100 million people are expected to be suffering from diabetes. Obviously, not everybody would be requiring hospitalization because hospitalization is, let's say, slightly extreme stage of the disease progression. I think what is critical here is to look for the OPD plans, outpatient expenses, because large part of our expenses, as per one of the surveys, Indians do shell out about 60 to 65% of, disease-related cost from their own pocket. So that's a very high cost, and most of it goes towards OPD. In fact, almost all such OPD is paid by the consumer themselves. So, in fact, now a lot of insurance companies have understood this need that, hospitalization is covered by health insurance, but now there are a lot of OPD riders as well, which are now introduced to the health insurance plan. So that when you're purchasing a health insurance plan, you can attach a OPD rider, and most of these OPD riders give you a particular sum insured that you can use towards three things primarily. One is the doctor consultations. The second thing, which is covered by the OPD plans is the medical tests, the diagnostics, because you might have to go through multiple diagnostic tests at a frequent intervals. And the third, very very critical thing, very important thing is the pharmacy cost, because like you rightly mentioned, you might not need hospitalization, but the pharmacy, the medicines, you'll always have to keep on having medicines for your health to be in check, and that's a significant sum. So OPD plans do fulfill in these needs. In fact, now available across majority insurance company, and I think that fills in the gap beautifully well, I think.
Well, Siddharth, for the next question, I want to come back to you. And I mean, this is a very common question, which of course does hit the curiosity for a lot of policyholders. Can someone who's already been diagnosed with cancer or any other lifestyle disease still get a life or a health insurance policy after that diagnosis? If so, what would be the do's and the don'ts for this policyholder who's intending to buy this cover?
When we talk about the lifestyle disease, the critical illness diseases, so one is the lifestyle diseases such as diabetes, hypertension, kind of asthma, COPD, etc. So the good news is, a lot of insurance, in fact, almost all insurance companies do accept conditions such as diabetes, whether you are on insulin, whether you are on just tablets. So, in fact, a lot of insurance companies do accept that. And in fact, there's a very useful rider for such consumers, wherein you can reduce your waiting period from a standard 3-year waiting period to day 31st or day one cover, in fact, in some cases also, by paying certain additional premium, which is a very useful cover. Then you don't need to serve your waiting period. The second critical type of diseases, which are, I would say a second category of diseases, which is, let's say, cancer, which obviously involves a lot more expenses, a lot more treatment, and it's a more long-standing, more severe disease in that perspective. Yes, there are, health insurance plans which are available that cover cancer also, but then that depends on the stage of cancer. That's purely basis the underwriting criteria of the insurance company. That's why it's always recommended that you buy a health insurance plan when you are fit and fine, young and healthy, so that you can get all the available options in the market. You can evaluate options as per your needs. And since you are fit and fine, you can choose any of the options which are available in the market. But once somebody is suffering from a grave critical illness like cancer, then the options are there, but they are limited in nature.
Vignesh, one question to you. With respect to the disclosure requirements regarding lifestyle habits, be it smoking, alcohol consumption, obesity, when buying a life insurance policy, if a policyholder is diagnosed with a lifestyle disease after purchasing the life insurance policy, does it impact his future premiums or coverage? Both those, in your opinion, what would you say?
I think life insurance contract is based based on Ubermo Fides, which is in good faith. So there can be no misrepresentation of any facts, whether you're a smoker, drinker, whatever your lifestyle is, because the entire contract is based on good faith. So you have to be absolutely transparent and upfront with every insurance company about all your lifestyle illnesses, about your smoking habits, about drinking habits, to avoid reputation investigation later. If there's a detection of any lifestyle disease like blood pressure or blood sugar or cholesterol or diabetes, it is the responsibility to inform the insurance company. The insurance company can choose to either increase premiums or reduce coverage. Similarly, it works the other way around. If you're detected with high blood pressure and the blood pressure is in control now, or sugar or diabetes, insurance companies can reduce premium or increase coverage.
Well, on that note, it's time for a very short commercial break. We'll be right back shortly with a lot more discussion, with a lot more understanding on this very, very critical issue and the role of insurance here. Thank you so much.
CNBC TV 80, the Policybazaar Insurance Show. CNBC TV 80, the Policybazaar Insurance Show.
Welcome back to the Policybazaar Insurance Show. Today we are joined by Ankur Kharbanda, Vignesh Sahani as well as Siddharth Singhal, and the point of discussion is the role of health and life insurance policy, how policyholders should maneuver their journey through these insurance products when it comes to lifestyle and carcinogenic diseases. The next question for Ankur again. How should one go about, determining the coverage amount for a cancer policy, given the high cost of treatment? And, what should be the journey? What should be those 2 or 3 points which a policyholder should keep in mind while, comparing insurers also when it comes to a coverage, premium that he pays for that coverage, so on and so forth?
No, thank you for asking. This is the most difficult question which I meet a lot of people and they ask me about this question. And the cancer care treatment costs today are like skyrocketing. There are so many new treatments which are available. So if I have to really put it in a way for viewers to understand it, easily, I'll put it in three sides. One is assess the treatment cost today, which is what are the cancer treatment expenses, hospitalization, chemo, radiation, surgery, post-treatment care. Second, what we should look at is the non-medical cost. The third thing, which is very important, is account for inflation. Medical inflation is today, there are some data point which says that this is higher than the normal inflation, almost 1.5 to 2 times of the normal inflation starting in the early double digits. Which means you have to think about it. If today the treatment is, let's suppose, a 25 lakh rupees of cancer treatment can be different for different type of treatments. But 20 years down the line or a 30 years down the line, this could be a 2 crore treatment, or a 40 years down the line, this would be a 3 crore or a 4 crore treatment. So you have to think through that as well. There is a difference in premium when you are let's suppose if you smoke or alcohol consumption is there. My only request and suggestion to all of you is that please be transparent in health disclosures. If you are disclosing, there can be some premium change, but it helps. And that's what we should look, because at Niva Bupa we are committed to ensure that our customers are taken care of in terms of the highest standards against all the critical illnesses. And we have a critical care policy which offers lump sum payout upon cancer diagnosis, allowing families to focus on treatment rather than the financial stress.
I just want to understand, what if during the term of the policy, someone, let's say, completely quits smoking or drinking or consumption of tobacco in any form? Does that also have to be disclosed to the insurer? And does that also bring the premiums down for an insured person?
There is definitely an impact of quitting, which is a very good habit. If you are quitting this, we at Niva Bupa would really encourage people to do that. So if an individual quits smoking or drinking or tobacco intake, insurers may reassess risk level and adjust premium accordingly. But the only thing I want to talk about is this typically requires a sustained period of abstinence with the medical proof. It cannot be just for a month or so I'm doing it. It has to be a sustained period with some medical proof so that we are able to adjust premium as well.
Siddharth, I want to ask you something. What are the general survival period and the waiting period clauses when it comes to critical illness policies, and how do they really impact the claim eligibility?
See, critical illness policies do cover for a loss of income, which means, during the treatment of cancer, for example, it may take a couple of months, during which period the earning capability of the individual or of the family gets impacted. And critical illness policies do offer that lump sum payout for the family, for the individual to cope for the, that loss of income. So I think, when should a person buy a critical illness policy? I think, see, the first and the foremost thing is to buy a comprehensive health insurance policy for yourself and your family. Once you've already secured that, then you can additionally, purchase a critical illness policy, or it can be a part of the base policy as a rider as well, so that you can do it. Coming to your question specifically, so I think most of the critical illness policies have two type of waiting periods, or two type of specific period that a person should look at. One is the survival period. This can range from 7 days to 15 days or slightly more. But usually, most of the policies have 7 days or 15 days, typically, which means if a person is detected from cancer, then the person has to survive for said number of days at least for the claim to be eligible. That means if I buy a 10 lakh rupees policy, critical illness policy, if I get diagnosed with cancer, then 7 days the person has to survive for me to be eligible for 10 lakh rupees. So that's a very critical period that a person should look at while buying a critical insurance policy. The second period is the waiting period, the initial waiting period. In most of the critical illness policies, that starts from 60 to 90 days. I would say 90 days it starts with, which means if I buy a critical illness policy today, I could be eligible for the claim in case a cancer is detected only after 90 days. So if the plans do offer an option to reduce the waiting period, one should go for it. And I think that kind of these two parameters impact tremendously what is your claim eligibility. A person may think that I have just bought a critical illness policy, but if the person does not survive for 7 days, then the claim obviously will not be payable. The person has to survive for 7 days and more. So I think these are very critical points while you're purchasing a critical illness policy.
No, absolutely. I mean, point well taken. Vignesh, I just want to understand, how do life insurance companies essentially assess the risk of lifestyle or, carcinogenic diseases at the time of underwriting, as many policyholders would have bought the policy at a very young age. So how does the detection happen? How does the reporting happen? How from time to time do you keep the policy updated in terms of the risks that a policyholder might have?
If it's detected in the medical, then it's a no-brainer. But in case there is no medical required, maybe the sum assured is not as much, or the age is pretty young, then the insurance company is guided by smoking habits, drinking habits. So first up, I think this is all the information the insurance company asks for, and they're guided by this information.
One final question, and this would be for all three panelists. We've had a wonderful discussion so far, but as key takeaways for anyone watching the show, I mean, with the lifestyle, diseases that we spoke about becoming more and more prevalent and healthcare costs rising, insurance now is no longer an option, but it's become a necessity. As we wrap up, what would be that one advice which each of our panelists would be giving to the policyholders out there to secure a comprehensive coverage for their health? How can they make informed choices today that will safeguard their tomorrow? I mean, if I have to ask that question to start with, to Siddharth, how would you sum up, this in just one advice that you have to give?
Health insurance is no more, just a want. It's a necessity because healthcare costs have been rising and they'll continue to rise. And moreover, on that, we have, the gravity or the severity of the disease is also increasing. So I think my advice would be to buy a health insurance plan, a comprehensive health insurance plan as early as possible. When you are fit and fine, young and healthy, it makes a lot more sense, to buy it and obviously not wait for, some critical illness to happen at a later stage. And we hope nobody suffers from that, but that's the reality of life. Second point is, many people do buy health insurance, but then the sum insured that they buy at is grossly inadequate. Buying a 5 lakh health insurance policy in a city like Delhi may not serve the purpose. You may have a health insurance policy, but it does not serve the purpose. The good thing is a lot of health insurance companies now have offered 1 crore combo plans, which are very, very easy on the pocket. Does not cost much, but give you a comprehensive coverage up to 1 crore. To cover for all kind of scenarios, and as we have spoken about in the in the show, that the cancer treatments can go upwards of 30, 40, 50 lakh rupees also, or even higher, depending on the criticality and the severity of the disease. So I think it's very, very important to buy health insurance as early as possible and buy a good amount of coverage.
Makes sense. I mean, if I have to put the same question to you, Ankur, how would you look at that?
This is an old phrase saying that प्यास तो लगनी hai, so you dig a well much before that. Similarly, being a human, you, everyone will get into that phase, the bimar to hona hi hai. So it's very important that we plan for it and buy it as early as possible. Second is ensure that you are declaring personal and medical family history. Opt for a comprehensive cover. Don't just look at small cover offer. Take comprehensive cover. Understand the exclusions and waiting periods, as I spoke about on specifically on cancer, but overall as well understand that. And the last one is, I would say that utilize the wellness and preventive care benefits. They really help you to be better in your whole overall lifestyle as well. These are a few points I will talk about.
I mean, all points are so important in the sort of their hierarchy. So, of course, the same question finally from the life insurance side to Vignesh. Vignesh, finally, the last piece of advice from you on both those parts. What should you keep in mind? One advice, and how should you go about choosing a comprehensive life insurance plan when it comes to both these aspects, that is lifestyle and carcinogenic diseases?
I think you need to do an elaborate needs analysis with your financial consultant to determine how much insurance you need, how much money would your family need in case you're not earning for them tomorrow. It's not hit and run. It's a long consultation, financial consultation, which you need to do. You need to figure out how much insurance your family would need, what your lifestyle is, what lifestyle would you like them to have, and then take a policy which suits your budget. The second thing I would do is repeat the same thing for health. I think health insurance is very required, is very essential. And when it comes to critical illness, you can say that I have a health insurance policy, why I need a critical illness. But health insurance policy is a medical claim policy, is an indemnity policy. It is paid only on hospitalization. A life insurance proceeds go to your nominee in case, God forbid, something were to happen to you. But Yash, my experience has been that I've been in the industry for 30 years. And I've seen lifestyle diseases hitting people at a younger age every 5 years. Secondly, I think the chances of survival after a critical illness are greater than what it used to be some years back, because advancement in medicine, in technology, in various aspects of that. So it's very critical to have some money to ride all the expenses, because there are chances that you might have a lifestyle disease or you might have a critical illness and yet survive.
The verdict is clear, and as I see it on my notes as well, buy early is one thing that you need to keep in mind. Buy enough, and most important, disclose all to your insurer. But with that, it's time to wrap up. A big thank you to all our guests for sharing their insightful views on this very crucial topic, and to our viewers, we will return back with a new episode, a new theme, a new subject, and more insightful discussions in the next episode. But till then, stay safe and stay insured.
CNBC TV 80, the Policybazaar Insurance Show.